I would like to call the in-person Lindop Board of Education regular meeting to order at 5:30 PM. May I have a roll call, please, Ms. Torres?
Yes. Board Member Jordan Harret,
Present.
Board Member Arrington,
Present.
Board Member Griffin,
Present.
Board Member Dawson,
Present.
Board Member Hannah,
Present.
Board Member Taylor,
Present.
Board Member Williams-Wolford. Absent.
Absent. Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Feels good to be able to stand again, but then again, I was standing anyway. In my home, right? So at this time, please turn your cell phones off or to silence. And then we're going to pause for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Moving on to item E, special presentation. Dr. Jackson.
Thank you very much. Good evening, our Board of Education, faculty, staff, administrators, and community members that may be tuning into this board meeting. The pandemic took us all by surprise. We were faced with a challenge that we were only able to read about in books and perhaps heard about from our elders at some point. However, we dug our heels in and modeled unity, respect, and equity for all. We included our families and complied with their desires, whether it was to have their children in person or whether it was to have them remain remote. As we continue to promote equity, we realize that what we may have thought individually had to be realized through a collective effort to provide families with what they needed at this moment in time. We were ushered into our implementation of one-to-one student devices and the ability to be able to take them home. We were prepared and we did this together. You were present with us, the administration, every step of the way. Through several parent coffees, surveys for parents, students, and staff, lengthy presentations of the impact of COVID-19 globally, nationally, and here in Illinois for our children. We discussed the trauma that we were no longer able to see or to be able to quickly assist with because of our new remote normal. Again, no matter how hard the decisions were, we stood together to create a legacy that will live on throughout infamy. At this time, I would like to take this moment to thank my Board of Education for your unwavering support during COVID-19. Mrs. Carla Joyner Harret, Board President, will you please come up? Ms. Cheryl Griffin, Board Secretary, please come up. Mrs. Victoria Arrington, Vice President, please come up. Mr. Brian Dawson, Board Member, and Mr. Aaron Hanna, Board Member, please come up. Those not present with us physically today are Mrs. Tanya Taylor, Board Member, and Ms. Penny Williams-Wolford, Board Member. At this time, I will come there with you, and we would like to present the American flag and the Black Lives Matter flag that hung proudly over Lindop, and it will now be retired and also be a part of Lindop's history.
picture.
Thank you again, Dr. Jackson. We truly appreciate everything that you do for us and for this district. You're the type that you always dot the i's and cross the t's. We so appreciate you. Moving right along, spotlight on success. Third grade team.
Yes, good evening again. We have our dynamic duo for third grade, who is not only amazing with remote, but they are equally as amazing with the children that are in person. And I am just personally very proud to see even what they have been doing to make children succeed during this time. And in this, I want to tell you that this is one of the grade levels that has some of the highest scores during this remote time. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Chi as well as Ms. Fromm.
That's Team Chong. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us and giving us this great opportunity. Kind of running through my head about what I wanted to say. What's really resonating with us is that this is a spotlight on success, and we can, easily list the challenges that have been presented. But this is an opportunity for our students to shine. And when I think about education, I think about the true triangle, right? You've got three major partners. You've got the students, you've got the families, and you've got the educational institute, the teachers. So I'm hoping that the video will speak for itself. And when you see the true magic that can happen when presented with all the great opportunities that we have here at Lindop, and then we put those in the homes and in the laps of the students. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
The biggest thing, especially this year with remote learning, is the engagement piece too. So that was one of our biggest goals. And as you will see through the video, we have engagement from all parties, the students and parents. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kiana. I am in third grade. We have been doing a lot of interdisciplinary projects during remote learning this school year. The projects we've been doing are connected with the books that we are reading in class.
Hi, hello, my name is Zion. I am also in third grade. Some of these themes we have focused on are becoming a child entrepreneur, understanding and saving our planet, identifying our roots.
My favorite project that I have done is the family tree. It is my favorite project because we got to know more about our family members. What I learned from the project is that I really got to know many family members that I didn't really know before this project, like my great granddad on my dad's side. So this is my poplet, my family tree. This is my mom's side, and this is my dad's side. And this is my great granddad right here.
My favorite project that I have done is the egg drop challenge. It is my favorite project because you get to be creative to check it out. Use is plastic knives, some cloth, a sock, a McDonald's cup, and rocks.
Okay, so is your egg inside all of that? It's wrapped around all of those materials?
Yeah, all the way through you.
Okay, and are your rocks on top or on the bottom? On the bottom. Okay, type in the chat. Do you think Zion's egg lander will make it? Get up there, stand up. Don't worry about the chat. Drop the thing. Got yes, we got no, we got yes, yes, no, yes. Okay, so I count us down. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, that was bad, but it sounded more like the rocks. Okay, thank you. Marianne said no, the guy said it might have cracked.
I feel like it did. It's about, I know it did. Like it worked.
Okay, yep.
Well, let's see.
I put in so much stuff. Another one. Is the dog?
I learned from the project is that gravity pulls down objects to the ground. Gravity is different on all other planets too.
Hey, my name is Jacoby. Are you tired of being bored on the weekends? I am. Let's not gonna stop you from having fun. Come to Jacoby's Ultimate Games, where we play games all day long.
Hi, my name is Taylor. And the question isn't why wouldn't you buy my hoodies, it's why shouldn't you buy my hoodies? Have you ever been running late and forget your book bag, purse, or lunch? Well, never again with Taylor's amazing hoodie. The bag is attached, so all you have to do is get up and go. For the low price, $19.99, you can be fashionable and cool. I guarantee wearing one of Taylor's amazing hoodie will increase your TikTok followers. I take out more followers. What? Did you just say you had more TikTok followers? Yeah. Well, watch this. Wow. Thank you, Taylor. Give me 100 million followers. No problem. Go buy yours now at taylorsAmazingHoodies.com. Bye. I'm going to do my egg drop project. I'm going to use some sponges and rubber bands to make it. And then here's my egg. I drew a little face on there. It's kind of messed up. It's smeared. With the egg, some of it's safe, so when you drop it, crack. I want to crack already. Start yet. Okay. Open up the sponges. Here's the sponges. So hopefully the egg don't crack, but it's in there. So yeah. So here's my egg, and I'm about to drop it. We're finna drop it. So 1, 2, 3. It cracked. I think it's gonna be really protective. But if I drop it off a building, I'm pretty sure it's gonna break. But my name is Donna, and I wrap my egg in toilet paper and rubber bands. And today we're gonna use here if it breaks. So, but I forgot when do I end? I mean, no, that's not if I do there. So it didn't crack. So yeah. First, I'm supposed to pour in a little drop of food coloring.
That's good. You got
1,
some in there.
2.
Okay.
Okay. And next, I need a little bit of water.
Not much.
Not much. And then next, some vinegar. Okay, I'm gonna have to give that 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Okay, I just knew. Okay, next I need some baking soda. And I need this sauce.
Put it on there, boy.
And then put it in. Okay, and then a little.
Put a little more vinegar in there.
Okay, now I need just a little more vinegar.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, and there's my volcano. Bye. Hi guys, this is my project, and my project is the bird.
And I created the bird feed using an empty toilet paper roll and then oatmeal, which is my leftover oatmeal. And if you can see the white things, that is the butter. This can be used by birds to eat and stay healthy. My project is important because it helps feed the birds and keep the earth clean. It is important to save the earth because animals live here.
These projects allow us to be creative and to have fun while learning.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know about you all. It's hard to believe that's third grade. It's hard to believe. As soon as they got on, it just brought life in this whole gym. So thank you so much. We appreciate third grade team for being here. And to think that you all did the best for, this year, as far as achievement is fantastic. And I tell you, that Jacoby guy, you need to calm it down. You need to help him come out of the shell. Thank you for your excellence. Thank you for being here tonight. Any other board members? Right here.
Oh, yeah, I will personally, Randolph, like to give a special congratulations to the third grade team, because to engage small children like that on the daily for hours, it really takes not only dedication, but imagination to be able to engage them and keep them not just sitting in front of a screen, but actively listening and engaging with you, and to be able to keep them doing that, all day. It's more than the average. It's definitely extraordinary work that you did. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Board Member Hannah, I just want to say, awesome job, third grade. You guys went over and beyond. It looked like the kids are definitely having fun. Not only learning, but having fun learning. And I think that makes them want to come back and want to keep doing it and excited about going to school, even though they're sitting in front of the computer. So awesome job, third grade.
I just echo everyone else's sentiments. This is always a highlight for me at board meetings. I'm sure many of us can say that. And very impressive. They even had people in their households engaged. That was pretty interesting to see. But I enjoyed it. Great job. Great job.
This is Cheryl Griffin. I would like to say that it was exciting for me because in one instance, when the young boy was pouring the vinegar and the baking soda, I couldn't help but laugh because I did the volcano by accident last week when I mixed the two and it went all over the place. But with all of the excitement, especially with the young ladies doing the sales pitch and everything, it's great to see them actually enjoying going through these things. And I think that's the main thing about learning. Make sure you enjoy it. So you did a wonderful job, the two of you.
Thank you again. Moving on to public comments. Are there any?
No.
None? Okay. Upcoming events and correspondence. Ms. Griffin?
Yes. Okay, Thursday, March 18th, 2021.
You'll let people read that.
Oh, yeah, we'll let them read that. So other than that, there is nothing. We have nothing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Griffin.
Thank you.
Please read the upcoming events independently. Thank you so much. Moving right along to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Vicki Arrington, Board Vice President, I make a motion that the board approve the consent agenda, including payroll for February 17th, 2021 through March 16th, 2021, in the amount of $406,989.42. Activity account reconciliation for February 2021. Accounts payable for February 17th, 2021 through March 16th, 2021, in the amount of $210,989.42.
$947.39. First read and adoption for review and monitor by Policy Manual Section 1, adopt with district edits. And first read and adoption for by review and monitor by Policy Manual Section 3, adopt with district edits.
Thank you. And a second, please.
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Are there any questions, any concerns? If there are none, roll call, please, Ms. Suarez.
Board Member Arrington,
Yay.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board
Yeah.
Board Member Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Williams Wilford.
Absent.
She had arrived.
Is she here now?
Yeah, okay. Ms. Williams Wilford. Board Member Jordan Harret.
Yay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Moving on to new business. I need a motion to approve the regular open session for February 16th, please.
Board Member Hannah, I make a motion that the board approve the regular open session meeting minutes for February 16th, 2021.
Second, please.
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Thank you. Any revisions or comments? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah,
Yeah.
Board Member Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Jordan Harret,
Yay.
Board Member Arrington.
Yay.
Thank you.
I need a motion to approve the closed session for the same meeting, please.
Cheryl Griffin, Board Secretary. I make a motion that the board approve the regular closed session meeting minutes for February 16th, 2021.
And a second, please.
I second Aaron Hannah.
Any revisions, comments? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah,
Yeah.
Board Member Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Jordan Harret,
Yay.
Board Member Arrington,
Yay.
Board Member Griffin.
Yay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the special open board self-evaluation superintendent relations meeting for February 27th, please.
Aaron Hannah, I make a motion that the board approve the special closed board self-evaluation superintendent relations meeting minutes for Saturday, February 27th, 2021.
Second, please.
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Thank you. Any revisions? If there are none, roll call, please.
Board Member Hannah,
Yeah.
Board Member Taylor,
Abstain.
Board Member Jordan Harret,
Yay.
Board Member Arrington,
Yay.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Need a motion to move or to approve the closed session of that same meeting, please.
Cheryl Griffin, Board Secretary. I make a motion that the board approve the special closed board self-evaluation superintendent relations meeting minutes for Saturday, February 27th, 2021.
And a second, please.
I second Aaron Hannah.
Any revisions? There are none. Roll call, please.
Board
Suarez?
Member Taylor,
Abstain. I was absent.
Board Member Williams Wilford,
Yay.
Board Member Jordan Harret,
Yay.
Board Member Arrington,
Yay.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion carries. You need a recommendation to, for the business office to work with the finance committee, please.
I make a motion, Vicky Arrington, Board Vice President. I make a motion that the board approve that the business office work with the finance committee and all stakeholders to prepare the Lindop School District 92, 2021 through 2022 school budget.
And a second, please.
I second Aaron Hannah.
Thank you. Mr. Baranik?
Good evening, Board of Education, Lindop staff, and community members. Was there a tentative calendar that was in the slide presentation? No? Okay. Well, in board book was attached the calendar for the outline to have the business office and the stakeholders start working on the calendar. It's that time again, it's hard to believe that, you know, we're looking at the next year's budget with it. But the main thing that I'd like to highlight on this is getting the board a tentative budget in May or June, and then passing the budget in either June or July. Depends on if I can get all of the assumptions that are needed to come up with a very tight budget for this next upcoming school year. But if you do look in board book, it does reference each month what will be being done to calculate what our revenues are going to be, what our expenditures are going to be. And then, like you said, we'll come up with a tentative budget to present to the board. We're going to have it first read to the board, hopefully, like I said, in May, and then hopefully have the tentative budget passed in June. At worst case, it would be July. If there's any questions with it, I wish I had the outline up there so everyone could view it, but I know the board has it in the board book.
Are there any questions? Every year preliminary thing we do, so if there are no questions, roll call please, Ms. Suarez.
Board Member Williams-Wilford. Board Member Jordan Harret.
Yay. I'm sorry, yay.
Thank you.
Williams-Wilford, yay.
Perfect. Board Member Jordan Harret.
Yay.
Board Member Arrington.
Yay.
Board Member Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member Hannah.
Yeah.
Board Member Taylor.
Yay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Need a motion to approve the purchase of the technology, please.
Make a motion, board member, Vicki Arrington, Vice President. I make a motion that the board approve the purchase of 38 MacBook Pros for a cost of $47,382 and 4 years of insurance coverage with Apple Care for a cost of $11,462. One Microsoft Surface laptop for a cost of $1,259.99. And 4 years of insurance coverage with Microsoft for a cost of $281.06, for a total cost of $60,385.05, utilizing CARES Act funds.
Second, please.
I say.
Tanya taking a second.
Mr. Hannah, second.
Any discussion at all from board members? Okay. Pretty cut and
I
dry.
have a question. Were these replacing any particular grade level? Board Member Williams-Wilford, or were we just updating some things?
Well, good evening, everyone. We're replacing teacher devices with these computers. They're replacing devices that are 4 years old.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any additional questions from board members? Okay, Ms. Suarez, roll call, please.
Board Member Jordan Harret.
Yay.
Board Member Arrington.
Yay.
Board Member Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member Hannah.
Yeah.
Board Member Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member Williams-Wilford.
Yay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. I was joking that we're a MAC district, but there's one person that I wonder who that is that wanted a Microsoft Surface. It's our superintendent. Thank you very much. Need a motion, please, to approve to utilize the Title I funds, please.
Brian Dawson, I make a motion that the board approve to utilize excess Title I funds in the amount of $35,693 for smart boards, inclusive of a 5-year warranty at no additional cost.
And a second, please.
I second. Yeah.
Josh, Mr. Oleski, is there anything you would like to?
Good evening again. We have access to Title I funds for the 2020-21 school year. Funds to be used to replace the briefing boards from 2008.
Thank you.
This is a cost that it breaks down from the sales order. It's a pretty big discount from what we got previously. Any questions?
Any questions from any board members?
Typically in the motion, we normally say how many specific items of something. So I'm just wondering if we can amend the motion to reflect so the public will know that how many exactly smart boards we purchased.
Do you have that number, Mr. Westview?
It's 7.
7, okay, do I have to rescind my motion and
If that's what the board chooses,
or can I? Well, how do I do it?
do you want to have it specified? Take a poll.
We didn't vote yet, so I could just do
I
it.
think that what it is, we have a motion on the table. If the board wants to rescind it, is that something that we want to do as a board?
I don't
Okay.
know either.
Ms. Arrington?
He just showed it here, it says 7 here, so I don't have.
Ms. Arrington?
It shows
I
on the
also-
sales order, it says 7 here.
Ms. Tanya Taylor? We're doing a poll. Is that motion needs to be rescinded?
If the majority say do so, that's fine with me. I mean, if the receipt, what I just saw, it shows the total amount.
Yeah. The majority said no change in motion. Roll call, please.
Board Member Arrington,
Yay.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah,
Yay.
Board Member Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Williams Wilford,
Yay.
Board Member Jordan Harret.
Yay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Okay, I need a recommendation to approve the host of the Olive Garden longevity celebration.
Cheryl Griffin, Board Secretary. I make a motion that the board approve to host the Olive Garden longevity celebration on Tuesday, April 27th, 2021, from 11:45 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. at 7513 Cermak Road, North Riverside, Illinois.
And a second, please.
I second Aaron Hannah.
Dr. Jackson,
Yes.
presenter. Go right
And
ahead.
so, since our last conversation, we had the discussion about this. We have been following up with the Olive Garden. To date, they will not be opened on that day or will be allowing large crowds. However, we do intend to continue to follow up with them later on as it gets closer to the date and maybe things would have opened up a little more. Any questions?
Is there an alternative you're thinking about?
We can absolutely look at an alternative. We had
Okay.
not, but we absolutely can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from any other board members?
Yeah, so we're gonna push it back to maybe when they're open or alternative place on the same date, is what you're saying.
So we'll look at an alternative place on the
Place,
same date.
Same date.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
yeah, so we can vote on it and still approve the
Right.
money, right? Okay.
Roll call, please.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah,
Yay.
Board Member Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Williams Wilford,
Yay.
Board Member Jordan Harret,
Yay.
Board Member Arrington.
Yay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Moving right along, I think we're a little bit ahead of our schedule. Knock on wood, right? Be quiet, Carla. Moving on to old business. Update on HVAC. Mr. Baranik.
Once again, the first project that I'd like to discuss with the board, as you've heard previous, is the HVAC controls. Just a real quick outline of what we've done so far in the process. We have put a public notice out in the paper on February 23rd that we have an RFP for guaranteed energy savings available to be bid on. We had a pre-bid meeting on March 1st. We did have an energy consultant and a company come out to walk the building. Mr. Valentine and myself were there for the pre-bid meeting. And then our bid opening and submission of bids will be due on March 29th. They will be reviewed by Mr. Valentine and myself, and then we will be bringing forth a recommendation to work on the project in April to the board with our lowest responsible bidder with the HVAC controls upgrade. Now, the second portion that I want the board to continuously see is that we do have additional projects out there that have to be addressed within the next 5 years. So if we look at the chart that's up there, you will see various items that need to be addressed. The 3 to 4 biggest items that we have out there, our number one item that we're looming with that has to be done here probably within the next 2 years is roof replacement. Currently, the roof from the building in the front working to the gym has been completed in 2017. The rest of the roof needs to be replaced. The estimated cost on that is $1.3 million. The second item that needs to be addressed in the near future are our univents. They were originally updated and put in 2003. They will be needing to be looked at to potentially have retrofitted with new fans, new belts, new everything to get those back up to par. That's going to be about $500,000 for that particular item. Then we also have the chiller, which was also new in 2003, but we do not know what the estimated life expectancy is on that. And the cost estimate for replacing that is $500,000. And then the fourth item that's kind of out there, and I know I've been working with Mr. Valentine on it to see if it is a priority or not, is some tuck pointing on the building. It is on our 10-year life safety, and that's roughly $400,000. So if we calculate all these items, these 4 main items that are out there that are pressing, and then we also have to add in 10% for architect, 10% for engineering, and 10% for construction contingency, we roughly have about $3 million pending per what our life safety document that we have from our architect. What I want the board to remember is this was pricing from 2016. So we still have to be very cautious as to what the pricing would come in as we are looking at these future life safety items. They may come in at cost or they may be higher. I don't know exactly what the actual cost would be, but I want the board to know that we do have some pressing life safety and capital projects that are going to be out there. At the last board meeting, I discussed a couple ways that these projects could be paid with. The 2 options were either A, number 1, use fund balance, or B, issue bonds. So what I want to do tonight is explore that option number 2 as the board asked to have some additional information come forth at the next board meeting. So tonight I have Andrew Arndt from Baird on the line, and he was nice enough to create a 1-page document to go over to show a couple different options that could be available out there. And the biggest thing that I want to stress on these 2 options, they would ultimately give us the same result. And then the second thing that I want to stress on this is a no tax increase to Broadview community taxpayers. So Mr. Arndt will go through it and explain it to you if he is the expert. But I know, like I said, I just want to introduce it to you and make sure that we are all aware that we do have some projects moving in the near future.
So that means we're going to be going into old business item 2 now, right? Okay.
Yeah, we just wanted to cover everything.
Not a
all at
problem.
once With the whole life safety while it was up there.
Go
So
right
I didn't
ahead.
kind of lose my place with our document that we have for tracking.
Right
Mr.
ahead.
Arndt, are you available?
I'm here. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
We can.
All right. Do we have the 1-page handout that we used for the finance committee meeting?
We do.
There we go. All right. Well, yeah, thank you very much for having me. Hopefully the information that we've pulled together here is helpful. I think that Scott did a nice job of kind of laying the framework of kind of how we've gotten to this point. Typically what happens is a school district similar to yours would find yourself with several $1 million of capital projects that need to be addressed in a relatively short period of time. When the tax caps were implemented back in the early 1990s, it was 1994 for Cook County, that gave an outlet to certain school districts, not all school districts, to be able to sell bonds without referendum to tackle these types of projects. Unfortunately for Lindop 92, that outlet, so to speak, is a dollar amount, and the dollar amount for the district was set at 0 because of how the laws and legislation was written for the tax caps. So unfortunately, you don't have currently the availability to use non-referendum bonds, or what we would call limited bonds, to finance these types of projects. So what that means is you have two different opportunities to potentially go to the taxpayers. As Scott mentioned, you would be asking them two different questions, but ultimately the impact to them, regardless of the question type, would be 0 tax increase. It would simply be extending the same bond payment that they've become accustomed to paying into the future to help tackle these capital projects that don't necessarily fit within the budget of the school district. And so the two types of questions that you would ask, the first is a typical school building bond referendum. You're simply identifying a dollar amount of projects. For the purposes of this conversation, I'm using the highest amount mathematically possible under the current statutory limitations that are imposed on the district, which would be about $6.5 million. Now, I know that Scott mentioned that there's about $3 million of costs that have been identified, but he pointed out that those are from 2016, and typically what we see is each year you can factor in a certain percentage increase to those costs, meaning that a quote from a $3 million quote from 2016, you can safely assume will probably cost more today if you were to tackle those same projects. So for this purpose, I'm just looking at the maximum, and that can always be pared back to some smaller dollar amount in the future. But if you were to go to the voters and ask for $6.5 million, again, you would be able to do so and not increase taxes. If that type of referendum were approved, the board would then have a 5-year window during which you could sell up to $6.5 million, either in pieces, maybe $3 million at a time, or the entirety all in one fell swoop. There's a sample question here on the handout there in black that says, shall the Board of Education of the school district number, I didn't fill in blanks just for the purposes of keeping this as an example, shall the school district build and equip a school building to replace the elementary school building, and so on and so forth, and then it names a specific dollar amount. That dollar amount represents the principal amount that can be sold of bonds. It does not factor in interest cost, but again, when we factor in the interest cost that we see at today's rates, you should be able to achieve about $6.5 million without asking for any additional tax money from the community. Ironically, we can accomplish the same thing by using the second question, which we refer to as the debt service extension base referendum. The debt service extension base is the annual limitation on non-referendum or non-voter approved bonds that was set forth with the tax caps in the early 90s. Again, Lindop 92 unfortunately had their debt service extension base set at $0. So that's why you don't currently have the outlet to be able to go to non-referendum bonds to tackle these projects, where some neighboring districts, maybe immediate neighbors to you, may have that outlet. You unfortunately do not. But you can gain that by going to the taxpayers and asking them to approve a debt service extension base amount. And the example that we're using here is the current payment, the current bond payment that you have for your outstanding bonds, which is approximately $425,000 annually. So if you were to use a debt service extension base question and ask the community to approve a debt service extension base of $425,000, it would not create any tax increase to them. They would not be paying any more for bond payments than they were previously. But the difference with this question is it would allow this board and future boards to then decide on an ongoing basis how and when to sell bonds that don't require additional referendum. So basically there's a 2 or 3 step process that the board at that time would have to go through in order to sell bonds, but it would not require any future referendum in order to do so. And there would be quite a bit of limitation on your capabilities. But again, mathematically, that $425,000 payment would be able to generate approximately $6.5 million for projects. So if you were to go out and look at this $3 million list that Scott identified and get actual quotes for what it would cost this year or maybe next year would be more appropriate, and you find that that would cost maybe $4.5 million or $5 million, having a $425,000 debt service extension base would allow the school district and the Board of Education at that time to contemplate borrowing bonds without the need to go back to the voters. But it would limit the payment amount at the current bond payment, again, resulting in no increase to the tax base. And there's a sample question below that section on this handout. Again, in black text, it says, shall the debt service extension base under the property tax extension limitation law, it would name your school district, for the payment of principal and interest on limited bonds be increased. And in this example, it would go from $0 to $425,000. And then it would name the levy year in which that would begin. So once that question hypothetically would pass, it would then put the school board in a position to be able to work with Scott and figure out the exact needs and immediate needs of the district and address those through the non-referendum bond process, which includes publications in the newspaper to let the community know what the intentions of the board are. It would identify a bond issue size at that time, and it would open a petition period for the community to express whether or not they're in agreement with the board's decision to go for non-referendum bonds. Once you get through that process, you would then have a 3-year period in which you could sell whatever dollar amount of bonds you've identified through those publications. So there's a lot more flexibility and a lot more that the district can do if they were to pursue a debt service extension based referendum rather than a school building bond referendum. But either way, one of these options would be something that would be very common for a school district to utilize in order to tackle a list of projects like the one Scott described. And just to round out the page, we've included upcoming election dates and some notes as to what's required in order to get a question on that particular election or on that ballot, which includes the board adopting a formal resolution, a ballot resolution that would need to be filed with the county clerk. That process typically needs to take place about 75 days prior to the election date. So we can back away from, March 15th to basically the beginning of January or probably the end of December of 2021 is when the board would have to actually take action to put a question on the ballot. There's also publication and the posting of notice requirements. And that's something that bond counsel at some point at the appropriate time would assist the district in making sure that those processes are handled properly. But in order to utilize an election that's upcoming for a debt service extension based referendum, given the amount of time that it would take to put a levy on file, it would be recommended to pursue the March 15th, 2022 election to allow for the most time for the school district to be able to plan not only taking bids for projects or getting quotes to help figure out exactly the size of the projects, and also to get through all of the steps for a bond issue in order to have the money available to take care of the projects in a timely manner. With that, I will pause and take a breath and answer any questions that the board might have.
The Board of Education knows this is something that was presented to the Finance Committee. And, if this is the beginning of a discussion, it's something that's a lot of information. So it's something we're gonna continuously discuss so we can break it down and fully understand it as a board. So if you have questions, you can ask them now, but just let you know, it's a lot of information. So we're gonna learn about it and continue to discuss it and decide as a board what we want to do. I turn it over to anybody that would like to ask any questions right now.
I'd like to ask Andy a question while I got him on the phone. I know that you discussed that we could go up to 6.5 million on it. What is your recommendation, like, just because of unforeseen, like, emergencies as you start tearing off a roof? You know, how does the district then have that flexibility by looking at this early to try to hit that March deadline? So I know that I presented that we have roughly 3 million, but what happens if we tear off that roof and we have unforeseen $800,000 additional here, the bid comes in at an extra 600,000, you know, how does that March, you know, timeframe give us, you know, the most flexibility is my question on that. Because I know some of the times, like when you are doing construction projects, you do have those unforeseen repairs that you didn't plan for.
Right. And that would allow for the most time for you to decide if you had a debt service extension base, you know, how much of it to utilize. You know, you wouldn't necessarily need to use all of it at one point, but you could identify more immediate needs, and then you could structure your bond issues more appropriately to save on interest costs and things like that.
Okay.
I do have a,
get what you're saying on that, Andy. I appreciate the clarification. I just wanted to make sure that I understood that one. And then if the board has any other questions.
I do have another question, because I know it's really based on your question. These recommendations were from life safety recommendations, what, 2016 you said?
2016.
So in order to be able to understand what's needed in 2021, is it inappropriate to have an evaluation done to kind of see what we need, the needs assessment? Because it's been a long time, rather than having to wait till the moment and then realize that we need a lot more. Would that make sense? You tell me.
I agree with that, but I do know that
I know
the
cost.
roofs will still be on there. That's going to be something that I know that you want to definitely address from the outside.
Yeah, I'm just
coming on in.
addressing
So-
the comments you made on almost a double more when you lift up you know, doing a roof. I thought that's kind of scary to hear, but
It certainly is.
And my thoughts
I
are-
know, talking with Mr. Valentine on it, you know, we're trying to really see what is the end of life on the actual roof. Can we make it to this time frame to bid out the whole project?
okay.
So instead of trying to put a bid out one summer and do a piece, and then the next summer do a piece, we're trying to make it extend so that when we do bid it out, we can put it out early in February. So then we could get in the actual bids on it, which would then help us determine, you know, what truly would be needed to try to do, if you choose to go and do the debt issuance, like you said, then we would have a closer, accurate gauge on what the actual roof replacement would be. So we are trying to work, like you said, to try to extend the life that we have on them, but we know that they're near the very end of this useful life.
And Mrs. Here, just to piggyback on what you said, an assessment absolutely is necessary because the priorities may have changed since 2016. Sure, absolutely. So another assessment will be done.
Thank you. Ms. Taylor, Ms. Williams-Wolford, any questions? Okay, there are none.
I have just
Right
one
here.
quick question. I know that we have various additions added to this structure, the entire campus here. But I am curious to know that the roof, that section that was done previously, did you run into issues once they began the work that resulted in additional costs?
Mr. Valentine, I know was here, I was not here during that time, so hopefully.
We did not want to issue, they asked for the architect to do just that installation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arn, for your presentation. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Please continue to let me know if any other questions pop up in the future, and I'll be happy to help.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Old business number 3, update on travel guidance. Nurse Kelly James.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, Board of Education, Lindop staff and administration and community members. My presentation tonight is not going to be as long-winded as it normally is. I just have this one slide really quick with spring break coming up, as well as some updated travel guidance that Cook County released within the last few weeks. The guidance I do want to just point out is changing as it always does. So this is what was presented as of March 8th. So this is the current guidance. We do expect it to change at some point, but this is what we have right now. If you take a look at the top left-hand side of the screen, there's a map there, which includes Chicago's travel order. We do have that up there because Cook County follows Chicago's travel order. So even if you go to their website, you get linked right to Chicago's guidance. At this time, they still do discourage all non-essential travel. That's still the name of the game, but they do have some guidance for people who do decide to travel. If you take a look at the map, it's broken down to yellow states and orange states. Orange states are where COVID is still being transmitted significantly. And then yellow states have either low to moderate community transmission. And like I said, this map is subject to change. We did share this with all of our staff at last Friday's staff meeting. So the guidance right now says that if there is an individual who is not fully vaccinated, so fully vaccinated, it's identified as somebody who is 2 weeks past their second dose of their vaccine. So if there is not a fully vaccinated person traveling to an orange state, that individual has to either receive COVID testing in the state they traveled to prior to returning home. If they did not have the testing done in the orange state, then they have to quarantine for 10 days upon their return home to Illinois. If they're traveling to a yellow state, there are no testing or quarantine requirements. You're not required to have that test in the state, and you are not required to quarantine either. So like I mentioned, the only exception to the orange state requirements is if the individual who's traveling is fully vaccinated at that point. But they do say that regardless of where you travel, regardless of your vaccination status, you should always be strictly masking, social distancing, and still performing frequent hand hygiene. They also do say that regardless of where you travel, when you get home, you should be monitoring yourself for symptoms for at least 14 days after you return. Like I said, this is subject to change, but this is what is out right now, and just wanted to update the board on it as well.
Thank you so very much for this update. You almost don't know how still this is such an intimate situation. Any questions from any board members at all? There are none. Thank you again, Ms. James, Nurse James.
Thank you.
Moving on to staff update, Dr. Jackson.
Yes, good evening again. And so our staff update, our current vacancies, our school secretary for the main office. We currently have someone sitting in that position as a probationary person to see how that would work. Also, we need one paraprofessional. If that person transitions into the school secretary position, we would need a paraprofessional, and then we also need a Title I instructional math coach, because as we know, Mrs. Holmes is retiring at the end of this school year. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Jackson? There are none. Okay. Moving right along to board president's report. I'll make this very, very short. I just wanted to thank Dr. Jackson for that back to school celebration. I'm going to tell you, thank you to you, your administrative team, the teachers, the maintenance staff, the dietary staff, your administrative assistants. It took a family, a village to create that moment. And I'm so thankful to have been there. From Mickey Mouse to Elmo, to Wonder Woman, to Black Panther, to all these personalized masks. The presence of the mayor, the police chief, the fire chief. it was a moment. And to see those kids, their faces, the excitement that they evidenced was really just something else. You worked very, very hard, very, very hard. You could see it. And then you didn't forget about the people that were on remote. You also made them have that special moment too. And it's good to know that people had choices, families have choices, just like we have choices as board members, and we respect all choices. So thank you all for every bit of that moment. And that's what I wanted to say. Any other comments at all?
Oh, I would just have to say ditto. It was just outstanding. And Ms. Harriet reminded me too that day that we were actually engaging in something historic. And to be a part of that was awesome. And I think the point that I got goosebumps, one of the points was when I was over by the pre-K door and just the look of amazement at those children looking at Minnie and Mickey. But it dawned on me, for many of them, it was their very first day of school in person in their lives. And that just did something to me. It was just how they'll never forget that. Of course, as old as I am, they won't forget. They won't forget it ever in their lives. And I just echo what Ms. Harris said. It was just a very special moment. You all just put in the greatest amount of work. Those efforts don't go unnoticed, and we're very grateful for it.
For myself, I would have to say the excitement of all the children, especially one particular little third grade girl. As soon as she hit the sidewalk, she looked in the distance and saw a fellow classmate of hers that she hadn't seen in a year. And it was like, she was just all giddy about it. And then it was like, she didn't see anyone else there, but that it was just, they had missed the social interaction.
So thank you. I was excited about Mickey and Minnie, by the way. I think we were all fighting to stand by them. I'm just telling you, there's something about Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah.
But thank you, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you so
Very
much, and
good
thank you all for your support. It was an amazing day. We didn't know how it was going to turn out, but the weather held up for us. We had a lot of people out, even the news stations came out, as well as the Village Free Press did come out to cover the story. Thank you so much, Mr. Dawson, for helping me with that press release. Easy to him, not so easy for me, but it all worked out, and look at what happened from it. Mrs. Suarez to recommending the people for the costumes that had the costumes for the Mickey and Minnie and everyone. And it just all worked out. Everyone came together as a team. Mr. Ballantyne just making sure that all of the logistics were taken care of. And then the administrative team just making sure that they were present and that we had everything that we could think of to make this special for our children. So thank you all so much for your support.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Yes, superintendent's report. Good evening once again. So we got some good news here. We have our Lindop 2021 valedictorian and salutatorian. So our valedictorian is Alyssa Simone Edwards, and our salutatorian is Janae Leslie Phillips. Our first day of school, just to sort of recap what we just talked about, just some snapshots and some photos of everyone. And I just think everyone was just in the moment and enjoying everything. And, you know, I was a little giddy too, a little nervous about Goofy, but everything else was okay. That was Mr. Copes in the Goofy costume. I was hoping his head wouldn't tilt off, but everything worked out well. And as you just see, we just smiles in our eyes under our mask. That includes my report. Conclude it.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson.
Yes.
Moving on to committee reports. Finance Committee. Vice President Victoria.
That would be you, Chair. So actually, what we discussed was discussed previously. Mr. Arndt made that same presentation to us in the Finance Committee, as well as Mr. Baranek, relating to what we just discussed earlier. I don't recall.
Computer.
That was pretty much it.
Thank you very much. Well done.
Certainly.
Our next meeting is Thursday, April 15th. At a time to be determined. Personnel committee meeting, there was none. Okay, PACE committee meeting, Mr. Dawson.
We have an upcoming meeting this Thursday. The most important thing going on at PACE is that just recently it is reopened as well, March 1st date, similar to Lindop. And so we haven't received the first report yet, this, presentations such as we have today. But I'll be bringing that to the board in April to see, what successes they've had with their children who obviously, it's a bit more involved with their opening, but we're looking forward to everything having been done safely. And that's it for my report on that. I'll speak to the rest in closed session.
Thank you. What can be more detailed than Nikki and Minnie? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think we set the bar high with Mickey, Minnie, and Black Panther. I think the first time they've been together, by the way.
And thank you, Mr. Dawson. Safety SEL meeting, and that was Wednesday, February 24th at 3 p.m. It's Mr. Hannah as well as Ms. Williams-Wolford. Your update on that meeting? Ms. Jackson?
Yes, so during that meeting, we only discussed, not only, but we discussed how everything was going along with safety, as far as with our children coming in and being in person and, sorry, with our children coming in person, making sure that they were still socially distanced and giving an update on that, and that we would have additional information later, and it would be forthcoming. Did you have anything else to add, Mr. Hannah?
I didn't. She covered exactly what we talked about as far as just getting students back into the building safely and how it will operate with staff and students back. So thank you, Jay.
No problem.
It was impressive. We went around and saw a little bit of it to see how organized it was and great social distancing. And it was nice having a smaller number to be able to kind of have a test run. So it all kind of worked out. Thank you so much. Policy committee meeting, that's Ms. Williams-Wolford, as well as Mr. Dawson. Y'all had your last meeting on March 3rd. Any update?
Ms. Wolford, you want to speak to it? The items that we voted for on consent?
Yeah, it was just the items that you've already voted on. And we've been working really hard to keep the policies current. And so that means that we have meetings once a month to keep with the new policies that are in place, as well as we're constantly taking sections of the current policies and reviewing those to make sure we're not getting behind in policies because things are changing so fast. And so we're following ISB's, not ISB's, the School Board Association's 2-cycle review. So the whole entire team, policy team, has been working really hard. So.
Thank you. Mr. Dawson, does that include that?
No, that's it.
Thank you. I know your next meeting is April 7th.
No, correction, April 14th.
April 14th.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Para CIA committee, and I know that's going to be coming up Monday, April 26th. The technology meeting was early today. Mr. Hannah, you're up to, and Ms. Taylor.
Okay, Josh, if you want to take it away.
Good evening again. We discussed the MacBook purchase that the board approved today. We discussed the smartboard purchase that the board approved today. And we discussed reading a new Lindop app next month.
Thank you. Any additional information from Ms. Taylor or Ms. Hannah? Is that covered?
That he covered exactly what we talked about.
Thank you. Meeting engagement and negotiations meetings are tabled until further notice. Any public comments?
No, ma'am.
Okay, there are none. Now we need a motion to go into executive session at 6:40 PM. We're ahead of schedule and we still are there. Just hopefully it'll keep it that way. I need a motion, please, whoever's kind enough to do so.
So, Vicki Arrington, Board Vice President, I make a motion that the board go into closed session under 5 Illinois Compiled Statutes 122 C1 and 2 to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, or performance of specific employees of the public body and collective negotiation matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives at 6:41 PM.
And a second, please,
A second, Aaron.
and a roll call.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah,
Yay.
Board Member Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Williams Wilford,
Yay.
Board Member Jordan Harret,
Yay.
Board Member Arrington,
Yay.
Board Member Griffin.
Yay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Number 1, please.
I make a motion, Brian Dawson, that the board approve and accept tenured teacher Mrs. Barbara Mills' intent to retire on June 30th, 2023.
A second. Aaron.
And a roll call, please.
Board Member Jordan Harret,
Yay.
Board Member Arrington,
Yay.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah,
Yay.
Board Member Taylor, and Board Member Williams Wilford. Thank you.
I need a motion on item number 2. And reconvene open session, please. I don't want to say it again because of this. Can you do number 2?
Oh, the motion?
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion that the board approve a 3% salary increase for School Safety Officer Michael Kosick with an annual salary of $36,050 for the 2021-2022 school year, and an increase of 3% for an annual salary of $37,131.50 for the 2021. Is that, am I saying that right?
2020 to 2021, and then 2021 to 2020.
Okay, so the first one is a typo. Let me restate this motion. I'm gonna restate it. Vicki Arrington, by the way, Board President. Board Vice President.
Thank you.
I make a motion that the board approve a 3% salary increase for School Safety Officer Michael Kosick with an annual salary of $36,050 for the 2020, am I saying that right? 2020-2021 school year, and an increase of 3% for an annual salary of $37,131.50 for the 2021 to 2022 school year.
A second.
Thank you. And a roll call?
Board Member Arrington,
Yay.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah,
Yay.
Board Member Jordan Harret.
Yay.
Thank you.
The next one is not on here for motion. Is that something we'll discuss it next time? Because it's not
Which one?
the motion for Mr. Baranik.
Yep, it's not, because it was just a discussion.
Well, wonderful. We got it. So we
Oh,
write the
really?
contract up and finish it up there. I need a motion to adjourn the board meeting at 8:41 PM.
I make a motion that we adjourn our board meeting at 8:42 PM.
42 and a second.
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Roll call, please.
Board Member Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Hannah,
Yay.
Board Member Jordan Harret,
Yay.
Board Member Arrington.
Yay.
Thank you.